Hey guys, this is Teacher Ryan, and this is part 3 of how to speak to a foreigner. This video is for Americans, so if you're an English learner, sorry, not for you, but you can still watch it. Okay, so part 3, questions versus statements. Now, you may not know this, but in English, if we want to be polite, usually we speak in a question format. We say, could you please pass the bread? Could you maybe, when you get a chance, could you please pass the bread? Can you give me that bread? Could you hand me the bread? Could you please situate the bread in a way where it is close to my plate? Right, we have like a lot of ways. Would you mind if you could please pass the bread now, please? Possibly, if you don't mind, could we please do this now? Maybe if you want to, it's not a big deal. If you can't, don't worry about it. It's no problem, but maybe you could. Right? So if we want to be polite, we usually speak in question format. Now, the problem with this is that when we speak to people where English is not their native language, they don't have the same internal, like they're being rude unless they ask a question feeling. In fact, in most other cultures, they don't ask a question to be polite. It's very American. And it's also, being overly polite is kind of a characteristic of the South. So, if you are from the South like me, then you have a tendency to ask questions. And to add all these, words like maybe, possibly, if you don't mind, because we're trying to be polite. So when you're talking to a person with a low English proficiency, you want to use a statement. Because if you use a question, by the time you get to the real meaningful language, would you mind if I borrowed your car? They've already lost you. All they heard was car. Would you mind if? If they've got a low proficiency in English, you need to switch to a statement. And you need to say words like please and thank you. Or just can I? Can I is okay. Can I borrow your car? I borrow your car today, please? Please? Switching to a statement and avoiding language that is very polite in our culture, but is very confusing with the person that's learning English. Like, would you mind if, possibly, potentially, perhaps, if you don't mind. Trying to switch more to a statement so that that person gets the meaning, gets the message, instead of functioning in a way where they're like processing all the words you said before you got to the meaning. So in our culture, usually to be polite, we use questions. But for an English learner, this is going to be more difficult because you're adding a lot more words to your sentence, where really you could just say a statement, say please, and just look like very kind. Please? Or just say, can I? Sometimes they may be able to handle can I. But again, if you're really struggling, just say the statement, be very direct, and then look very nice. Because the moment I get a new student in my classroom and I say, could everyone please open their books? They just look at me. They do nothing. And I'm like, open your books. And then they do something. Because they are having to process so much language. Could everyone please open their books? So remember, try to stick to a statement when you're asking for something, you're being direct, even though it feels impolite. Just say please and be more direct and use meaningful words and make sure to breathe in between. Don't try to say every word very, very loudly like we talked about in part 1. Okay, guys. Good luck out there. Remember, you can do it. Give me a thumbs up if you like it, and subscribe if you like my YouTube channel. Thanks, guys.